Hey guys, this is DFD, aka Dark Frozen Depths, back with another Kamihime project video. Now this one I definitely had to get on quick because I have to actually cover this as soon as possible because I just found out about this. However, they just posted in the news that we have a Tower of Malice coming up, which is going to be the water one. So it's finally here. Hopefully you've already been preparing your Thunder teams. If you haven't, you have 1 day before the event starts. Otherwise, you're preparing while the event's happening. Oh, and in case you're wondering why my gems is so low right now, random thing, but when I was on my phone actually trying to do the donate the Union mission, I tried donating 50 gems, and for some strange reason, I went down like a good 500,000. So, yeah, rip almost all of my gems. I can get them back kind of quickly, but that still hurts because that's like practically two fully awakened characters. But anyways, something else that needs to be double checked too is a few things in the gacha. First and foremost, you know the SSR resets. Do them if you can because you're guaranteed for an SSR pool. They are by far your best chance at getting some good characters aside from the miracle ticket. Another one, which is interesting, and I'm kind of glad they did it like this because it made me tempted to pull on this, which I can do in a few days. Thunder, guaranteed. There is nothing but Thunder characters in here and Thunder Idolans. This changes everything. It is one attempt, granted. But this is so good for that because of how much stuff you can get in here. Now, there is nothing but Thunder weapons except for Susanoo Oh's weapon because somehow she's a dark Kamihime that comes with a Thunder weapon. In preparation for this event, when you do this, you'll get nothing but Thunder draws. That is period. So, if you're missing a lot of Thunder Kamihime or some strong ones or whatever, this is your best chance for that. More importantly, the Idolans are under the same effect. So if you are lucky, you have a very decent chance of pulling Kirin. Even if you don't get her, Thunderbird's pretty good. Huang Long can be. Pulse Kaiser is very good. In fact, the Kaisers are the second most valued Idolans in the game right now. Pretty much because they're the best sub Idolans. So that's something to know. Kirin, however, is 100% Idolan for Thunder. And considering that the SSR pool is pretty much split between 6 Idolans. So you cut that percentage in half and then divide that by 6. Off the top of my head, that's around a 0.2%, 0.25% chance of pulling Kirin, but it still beats out the normal rates, where you have like another 20 plus Idolans splitting that. So this is one of your best chances of getting Kirin or Kaiser Dragoon. You essentially got a 1 out of 5% chance of getting one of those two. So, I mean, a 1 out of 6 chance of getting those two if a SSR Idolan pops up. So, I still kept saying that wrong, but you get what I mean. Very, very good chance of getting those. The weapons, I don't know how many of these actually represent some of these characters, but I know for a fact that Mjolnir is Thor's weapon. And I think one of these guns holds Brahma. They're very good. I don't know the full list for all this, but keep this in mind. You have 10 Kamihime splitting at 1.5% chance. You practically have an SSR pool that is split between 16 different characters. So, yeah. Again, very good time to get it. I know the Lightning Drum Hammer, I think, was Raiko's weapon. I'm pretty sure of it. Raiko's a very good Kamihime as well. But, in fact, she should be awakening pretty soon, too. I think she's the next month awakening. But yeah, all of them they're showing right there are actually pretty good Kamihime if you can get them. So that's something to know. And keep in mind how the tower event works. It's going to get harder and harder the higher you climb. Everybody should be able to at least get a few floors done, period point blank, no matter how strong you are, because you should be able to get yourself strong enough to handle that. Enemies do not start off that difficult anyways. I'd say this, if you are capable of clearing pretty much beginner or even normal in an event, you probably could clear at least the first 3 floors practically. But that's the whole thing with that. New character gacha hasn't even been affected, but they did remove the white one, unfortunately. So I can't get no white focus crap. But other than that, the only other thing I have to mention is to be very, very careful about who you send into the tower, because first off and foremost, you're not getting every single mission done unless you use nothing but Thunder characters, so you really have to budget them if that's the case. Second thing, which really gets to me, is the simple fact that you can't use your Kamihime again for practically half the event. I think they're locked out for like 3-4 days once you use them. And it doesn't matter whether you win or lose on that attempt, so remember that. You're best using the bare minimum just to clear the stage, but at the same time, you can't shortchange yourself because you might end up losing anyways. If you want to do every single mission, you have to get all 16 of your runs without fail. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up having to get 2 clears of 4 or 15. That means 2 separate teams. You can indeed save your keys all for the last day, but it's not recommended unless you have practically every single Thunder Kamihime in the game at this point. So you got to keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is the fact that Thunder teams don't get too many healers. So yeah, those of you that are attempting to do the strategy of getting a healer from a different team, unfortunately that's not only going to kill your medal rating, but at the same time, you can't keep doing that too easily. Thunder is very, very, very low on healers. I think the only ones we have right now are either SR or they are limited SSR. So keep that in mind. I got a nice little advantage because I got Cow as a limited Thunder Kamihime, so I got a little bit of a helper with that one. She's not a healer, but limited Kamihime, that's where they get even more value because you're in a better position than most people if you happen to have one. And one last thing I could really sit up and say towards this too is the fact that when you go in there and try to get different stuff, this is the recommendations for the best stuff to go after when you use your tower medals. And keep in mind they carry through tower events as well, which is why I'm already nice advantage with 2,000. And you can indeed get over 10,000 per event without even doing too bad in the rankings. I've done that. This weapon break set is one of the most highly valued things to go for, because it gives you an item that lets you break limit any SSR weapon, period. And I think it really does work on the soul weapons, but honestly, I wouldn't even do that. If you really are going to go for this, maybe you've gotten a phantom weapon from the Ragnarok fights. That's a very good candidate for that because those phantom weapons are hard to find. So keep that in mind. If you want to do this, because honestly, rank 5 accessory quests can throw these at you like no tomorrow, you can literally get a crap ton of SSR accessories and a bunch of Rosarios to beat them up for 5,000. It's not a bad idea, but it's not a preferred idea, now that we have the accessory quests at rank 5. But that is one of every SSR, and these are normal, they're not going to be ancient, so keep that in mind. But one of every SSR of that element. I wouldn't bother with these Grimoire sets. You can get them from events, so don't waste your 3,000 medals for that. This is what I managed to get last time. A bunch of these gacha tickets, because here's the whole thing. You're getting a guaranteed SR, 2 guaranteed Kamihime weapons, and 5 premium tickets for 3,000 tower medals. That is 8 pulls. 8 for 3,000. Considering that I had about 11,000 medals the first time I went through the first tower, that gave me 24 pulls for less than 10,000. That's not bad. It still depends on what you get out of those tickets, but it's really not a bad idea, especially compared to the other one you'll see later. These accessory sets, it's like a weaker version of the Rosario, so you get the R ones and not the SR ones, and you get half of the SSR stuff. These are definitely not worth it, especially since it gives you the lower tier ones, except for the TR. That's not too bad, but you still get a better one if you just drop to 5,000. You're paying almost double for over double, so that's something to know. Don't ever get these weapon skill enhancement things. We have union events to feed them to you. Don't even bother. This is where I said the gacha tickets might actually override this. For the same amount of tower medals it takes for those pools, you'd have 3 magic jewels worth. You'd have 3 magic jewels worth of pools compared to the 8 you get from the tickets. If you're going for pools, magic jewels is not for you. Even then, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Magic jewels are a lot easier to come by than you'd think, especially if they keep handing them out to us through logins and stuff. So, I wouldn't recommend this. These break limit items either, don't bother. You can easily get them from the quest. Don't bother for the break limit things, don't bother for these enhancements. This might have some worth now, though. I wouldn't get the gems either or the AP BP set because you can get them somewhere else. But this might actually have some worth now. You get 30 soul points and 10 holy soul points for a measly little 200 medals. If you are really trying to get mastery points, this isn't a bad idea. Again, it still depends on your own preference. I think there's still better stuff than this. I've mentioned a lot of them, like the gacha tickets. Even the SSR accessories are better. Definitely the brick. But if you really are trying to just blow through your medals, throw your excess towards this. Honestly, I have enough to get 300 soul points just from this alone and a holy soul point. I have enough of this to get 4 mastery points and part of one, just with this tower medal count I have right now. But I'm going to save one to it, because if I'm going to blow them on anything, it's either going to be on this brick or the gacha tickets. That's what I personally like to use them on. But if you really want my recommendations for stuff, definitely that break limit set right there. Especially since you get some of these grimoires with it as well. So yeah, even less of a reason to get this. But the first break limit set right there, where you get the guaranteed SSR, the gacha tickets, and then this. Those are the only 3 things I'd probably pick. Maybe these if you can't clear rank 5 accessory quests yet, but if you can, don't worry about this. You can easily farm these up. You'll get 3 SSRs guaranteed per day, so that's the whole thing about that. And keep in mind, you can indeed save your tower medals between events. We will get these every 2 months, though. So it's going to be a long time before the next tower, and they do indeed repeat, because I've seen that on the DMM wiki. They do indeed repeat. I think they're going through the fire or the water one again this time around. And speaking of which, I'm going to leave a link to the water one in the description or the comments. Very carefully look over that, because the info they give us per floor does not cover how much they really do. That wiki has got it down locked. Period. Check that out if you really want your best chances of surviving the tower, because this is like Guild Order, where you get 1 shot. You cannot use elixirs, and you only get as many runs as you have tower keys. You have 1 shot if you're trying to attempt every single mission. And that's the other thing too. Try to go as far as you can with the recommended thunder element, and then just break out your better teams for the higher stuff if you know you can't do it. In my case, I definitely can't. My thunder team's too weak. I'm about to beef them up a little bit more now that I've done my gacha pools, but that's just how it is. And speaking of beefed up and everything too, yeah, my rating on this has gone up that high because I've been getting a lot of plus weapons from the jump gacha. There's been a lot more plus items been falling out of there, I've noticed. So maybe that's just me, but spread those things around quite a bit because they do add up a lot. A lot. And if you have no more weapons to use the plus ones on, that's when you might want to consider using them on your Kamihime, because you can do that. Because you can essentially get plus 99 on your Kamihime as well. But anyways, that's all for that. I will be doing tower videos showing off how far I get in there. Unfortunately, if it screws up like last time, I'm sorry I can't show that video. I did manage to clear 414 the last time I did this. I never got a chance to try 15. And that was a harder one. I heard it's going to be slightly changed, so it might be a little bit easier to get to 415 this time around. But as compensation, I do believe 415 is harder. At least I'm trying to remember what I heard a long time ago. I may be wrong on that one. And one final thing too. Any accessories you have, switch them between your Kamihime. It doesn't take gems to do that anymore. So, switch your SSR accessories between your Kamihime. Period. Doesn't matter who has them. Do it. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. More of this is definitely going to come soon because I'm going to be doing some gacha pulling, and then I'm also going to be doing some tower videos. So, definitely try to get the Thunder guaranteed if you can. If you're really trying to do something serious with this event, or you have Thunder plans. And best of luck, because the tower is actually quite difficult to go all the way through. Again, it starts easy, but it starts getting very difficult later down the line. Enemies will start getting to guild order difficulty or even harder. So you need to be very well prepared. I kid you not. So do as much as you can to prepare from here on out. And you can still, indeed, log in, go to the tower event, save up your tower keys, and use them later on. But you have to do it before the end of the event. Otherwise, your tower keys are wasted. And if you are doing that method, make sure you have a ton of Kamihime, because you get one shot per run with them. So, if, say, I took Tish into a tower run, I'm not using her for like 3 days. 3-4 days. So you at best will get 2 shots, but you're likely only getting 1, especially if you save up your keys. But again, that's all for this, guys. This is going on long enough. Best of luck to everybody, and take care.